is Jeremiah. Now, for some people, driving is not a source of anxiety or stress. However, for many of us, raise your hand if driving causes you frustration, anger, anxiety, fear, stress in general. Well, you are not alone. Now, let's work on that together, shall we? I would like to start by setting the table. I'm going to tell you some stories about my own past with driving. But first, if you are currently driving, please do not watch this or attempt to watch this while you are driving. Please. For me. If you have the ability to listen to this through your car's audio, wonderful. And it would be one of the rare ASMR videos that I would not recommend wearing headphones if you are driving. It's dangerous to not be able to hear the sounds outside of your vehicle while you are driving. If you are sitting down and meditating with me, that's different. In that case, feel free to focus as much as you want on my face. So, if you are getting ready to go somewhere right now, the first thing that I want you to be sure is that you give yourself enough time to get to your location. I cannot stress this enough. Back when I was 16, I had a wonderful driver's ed instructor, and he told me something that has stuck with me all these years. I hope Mr. Wilkes had a great life. He was a cool guy. He was retired and basically taught driver's ed as a kind of a public service, just as a way to give back. And he said, "Your car is not a time machine." Let me say that again. Your car is not a time machine. Okay? Are you with me? If you are currently running late for your meeting, appointment, whatever it is, I want you to take a breath with me. And just be with the fact that you might be late. and that's okay. While I don't condone necessarily being late to meetings or appointments, if you are currently running late, you just have to let that go right now. You smashing the gas pedal to the next red light will not get you there any faster. You tailgating the driver in front of you will not get you to your location, your destination, any faster. You might think it does, but trust me, in the end, what difference would maybe a few minutes make? So please, again, I cannot stress this enough. Give yourself time to get to your destination. As an actor in Los Angeles, when I came here, I would have to drive around to do auditions and so forth, and traffic here, of course, is famously terrible, and it is. There's a lot of people down here. It's beautiful. There's a lot of people that want to live here. If I was running late, I might as well throw the entire audition out the window, because by the time I would get there, my adrenaline would be up, my cortisol levels would be up. Cortisol is the stress hormone, would be elevated. I would not be relaxed, focused, thinking clearly. I would be stressing about parking and street signs, of which Los Angeles is famous for. The million different parking restrictions. The key is to give yourself time. Your car is not a time machine. Got it? Great. My personal rule of thumb is to arrive to generally any meeting or appointment 10 to 20 minutes early. I usually err on the side of 20 minutes. Why? Because usually I can. There are rare circumstances where you are literally going from appointment to appointment to appointment, and it is what it is. But usually, for most of us, most of the time, leaving 10 or 20 minutes earlier would really not be a problem. So, if you can, please do yourself a favor and just leave a little earlier. Bring a book, listen to a podcast, play a game on your phone when you arrive, whatever. Just make sure that you give yourself enough time. And now I would like to ponder another source of anger and frustration. Raise your hand if there are times in your life where you feel powerless. Right? Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty universal. Well, when we feel powerless, we often feel frustration, not being heard, not being listened to, not being respected. All kinds of negative reactions and emotions, frustration, anger. And being in a car is, for lack of a better word, very powerful. Even the lamest, tiny Econobox Ford Fiesta Volkswagen Golf from the 90s or the 80s is still an incredibly powerful vehicle. Often we're alone inside this vehicle, and suddenly we have some power at our hands, right? We have a voice. We have a horn. We have that very tempting gas pedal on the right. And for many of us, driving can be an outlet for our anger and frustration, our resentment. So I would invite you, please, let's see if we can let that go. Breathe. Yes, the car we are sitting in, it is very powerful, especially compared to anybody not in a vehicle, and even compared to other vehicles. It's still very powerful, let alone if you're driving a big SUV, right? Now there's a feeling of power and what have you. But if you find yourself getting angry as we're driving to our destination, our location, I encourage you to ask, what are you actually angry about? If somebody wants to merge and they put on their signal, I invite you to let them merge. Believe me, I understand the temptation to accelerate, not allow them to get in front of us. Believe me, I get it. And I would also invite you to take a breath and simply let them merge. If somebody cuts you off and you have to tap on your brake a little bit, Believe me, I get it. It's frustrating. It's annoying. I get it. Breathe. And realize how utterly useless it is to be angry at that person. They're a stranger. You're a stranger. You could honk your horn, ride up on their bumper, heaven forbid you shout at them or make inappropriate gestures with your hands at them. Whatever the temptation may be, say it with me. We are going to let it go. We have to let it go. Anger, frustration, jealousy, all of these emotions are like hot coals that we hold in our hand. And the longer we hold them, the more we are ourselves being burned. It is a poison that we drink and then tell the other person, now you die. Let me swallow this poison. Now you feel the consequences. It doesn't work like that. It only hurts ourselves. The reality is, there are many things we don't have much control over. We really don't. And I would invite you to join me in embracing one of the few things we have control over, which is how long we hold on to anger, frustration, resentment. I am in no way suggesting that you don't feel those emotions. Of course, we are going to feel anger, frustration, fear. Of course, we are going to feel those things. The question is the practice of how quickly we can let those things go. Breathe. Wherever you are going to arrive exactly when you are going to arrive. Not a moment before and not a moment after. You will get there exactly when you get there. If you arrive angry, frustrated, stressed, I would venture to guess that none of those are going to improve your experience upon arrival. Breathe. Again, I invite you to join me in letting go of whatever anger you have to a driver in front of you or behind you or beside you. Let's let that go together, shall we? Yeah. Who knows the kind of day they're having? Maybe they're having a terrible day. Maybe they're running late and their boss just yelled at them, or their significant other wanted them to get something done that they didn't get done, and they're distracted and stressed out, and they did something careless, probably borderline unconsciously. And to allow that action to upset us, why? What does that do for us? Nothing. Yeah. Most people go through their daily lives barely conscious. They're just going through the motions. They get up and they go to their job and they come home from their job, and especially in the car, they're oftentimes barely present to what's going on around them. And I invite you, along with me and everybody that you know, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's wise advice. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that is literally true. Yeah. Every now and again, somebody will do something that is intentionally malicious towards you. And even in that case, I invite you to take a breath and just let it go. The anger, the frustration, the stress, the anxiety has zero positive benefit. None. None. So again, breathe. Let's let that go, shall we? Yeah. Yeah. Let's put a little more space between the person in front of us. Let's go ahead and let that person merge in front of us. Let's be sure that we give ourselves plenty of time to arrive at our destination safely and calmly. Let's be sure that when we do arrive early, we have a reward. I'm very big on reward systems, so I like to make sure that I have something I get to look forward to when I do a responsible choice. Like, for example, leaving a little early. For me, that reward is playing chess on my phone, or really my real guilty pleasure if I'm going someplace and I know that nearby there is froyo. I may, from time to time, let myself go get some froyo. Now, this may or may not have been a problem. I'm just saying. I really do love froyo. But just give yourself some kind of a reward to look forward to. Something that you can enjoy so that it starts to build a pattern in your life. Because one thing that we all need and do is routine, patterns, repetition. We are what we repeatedly do. This is Aristotle, by the way. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not a choice, it's a habit. So let's create some healthy habits around our driving, shall we? I think we shall. We're going to remember to give ourselves plenty of time. We'll have a reward waiting for us when we arrive. A book, a game, a podcast, sometimes maybe froyo. I'm just saying, that was my thing, but you can't do that too often. But some kind of reward, so that it can motivate us to slow down a little bit, forgive a little more, so that we can arrive at our destination calm, relaxed, stress-free, and ready to do whatever it is we are going to do there. So, as always, thank you for listening. I really, really, really appreciate you. And I hope that you have a lovely, lovely drive wherever you are going. I'll see you very soon. Take care.